The last thing I remembered was the crack of the sniper's rifle echoing off the jagged rocks of that godforsaken Afghan ridge, my blood pooling hot and sticky under the desert sun as my father's voice, cold as steel, crackled over the radio. "Abigail, stand down. That's an order." But I didn't stand down. I couldn't. Not when I knew he'd sold me out to cover his own ass. And then nothing. Blackness. The kind that swallows you whole. But death isn't the end. Not for me. I woke up gasping, my heart hammering like a war drum, staring at the same damn ceiling fan in my Arlington apartment that I'd cursed 1,000 times before deploying. The date on my phone blinked December 15th, 2018, 7 months before that ridge, before the betrayal that ended my life at 28. My hands, younger, unscarred, trembled as I touched my face. It was me, Abigail Steele, daughter of General Harlan Iron Steele, the unbreakable pillar of the U.S. Army. I'd been reborn. Trung Sin, they call it in those old Vietnamese folktales my mom used to whisper before she OD'd on painkillers when I was 10. A second chance. And this time, I wasn't going to let the old man bury me alive. I bolted upright, the sheets tangling around my legs like enemy wire. The room smelled of stale coffee and gun oil, my go-to cologne back then. My service pistol sat on the nightstand, unloaded, a mocking reminder of the power I once wielded as a captain in Special Forces. I grabbed it anyway, the weight grounding me as flashes of that final op flooded back. We'd been hunting a high-value Taliban target in Helmand province, my team inserted under the cover of a midnight dust storm. Intel said the warlord was holed up in a cave complex, ripe for the taking. But as we crested the ridge, the world exploded. RPGs from nowhere. Ambush. My squad, gone in seconds. I radioed for evac, screaming into the void, and that's when Dad's voice cut through. "Abort, Abby. It's a trap. Pull back now." Lies. All of it. He knew it was a trap because he'd said it. To silence me. Because I'd found out about the bribes. The black market arms deals funneling weapons to both sides, lining his pockets with blood money from contractors who'd made him their puppet. I'd confronted him weeks earlier, in a hushed argument in his Pentagon office, and he'd laughed it off. "You're seeing shadows, kid. Focus on the mission." But I wasn't seeing shadows. I had proof. Emails. Bank transfers. A ghost ledger hidden in his safe. And on that ridge, he'd made sure the proof died with me. Now here I was, back in the belly of the beast. My phone buzzed, a text from my XO, Lieutenant Reyes. "Cap, brief at 0800. Don't be late. Iron's riding us hard." Iron. That's what they called him. General Harlan Steele, the Iron General, forged in Vietnam, tempered in Iraq, unbreakable. 5 stars on his shoulder, a chest full of ribbons that hid a rotten core. I'd idolized him once. Wanted to be him. Marched into West Point at 18 with his name as my shield, ignoring the whispers about Mom's accident. How she'd begged me the night before to watch your back with him, Abby. I'd dismissed it as the ramblings of a pillhead. But after her death, the gaps in his stories started showing. Deployments that didn't add up. Money appearing from nowhere. And then, my own suspicions in Afghanistan, confirming what I'd buried deep. Dad wasn't a hero. He was a monster in stars and stripes. I dressed in fatigues, the fabric rough against my skin like it hadn't been in my first life. Wait, second life? Whatever. This was round 2, and I was playing for keeps. The drive to the base was a blur of Virginia suburbs, Christmas lights twinkling mockingly on McMansions that screamed American dream while I plotted its nightmare. Fort Myer loomed ahead, the stars and stripes snapping in the winter wind like a warning. I parked, holstered my sidearm, and strode in, every step a vow. This time, I dismantle him brick by brick.
No merci. No hesitation.
Because the Iron General didn't break. But I'd make him shatter. The briefing room was a pressure cooker of khaki and caffeine. My team slouched around the conference table like they'd just rolled out of a ruck march. Reyes spotted me first, his dark eyes narrowing. "You look like hell, Cap. Rough night?" "Rough. Try resurrection." I forced a grin, The kind that said, "I'm fine, soldier. Just dreaming of glory, Reyes." "What's this sitrep?" He slid a folder my way, sat images of that same ridge and Helmand. My stomach twisted. It was all barreling toward the same cliff. The op was greenlit for July, but the whispers had already started. Intel leaks. Funny how Dad's allies, in the contractor world, always seemed one step ahead. As the briefer droned on about ROEs and HVTs, my mind raced. In my first go-round, I'd trusted the chain of command blindly. Reported my suspicions to the IG, Inspector General, only to have the file vanish. Then the anonymous tip that painted me as unstable, a loose cannon leaking classifieds. Dad's doing every bit. He'd isolated me, turned my own squad against me with rumors I'd banged the CO for promotion. Lies that stung worse than shrapnel. By the time I hit that ridge, I was alone. Marked. But not this time. First move. Secure the evidence. The ghost ledger. I'd memorized the safe combo from that confrontation. His birthday, 05251952. Pathetic. Tonight, I'd slip into his office at the Pentagon. Risky? Hell yes. But hesitation got me killed once. I wouldn't repeat it. After the brief, I cornered Reyes in the hall. He was my rock back then, loyal, sharp, the kind of Latino kid from East LA who'd clawed his way up on grit alone. "Reyes, you ever wonder if the brass is playing us?" He paused, coffee mug halfway to his lips. "Every damn day, Cap."
Why?
I leaned in, voice low. "Because I think iron's got skeletons. Big ones. And I'm gonna rattle 'em." His eyes widened, but he didn't flinch. "You got proof?" "Not yet. But soon. Trust me. And watch your six." The rest of the day blurred. PT, range time, the monotonous grind that hid the rot. By evening, I was suited up in civvies, a black hoodie over jeans, the family heirloom in my pocket, Mom's old silver dollar, minted in 1921, the year Grandpa Steele landed at Ellis Island. She'd given it to me on my 18th birthday, whispering, "This is our luck, Abby. But luck runs out if you let wolves in sheep's clothing near it." I'd laughed then. Not anymore. It was my talisman now, cool against my thigh as I badged into the Pentagon after hours. The halls were ghosts, fluorescents humming like distant artillery. Dad's office was on the Earring, 3rd floor, mahogany door gleaming under the brass nameplate. LTG Harlan Steel. I picked the lock, skills from SEER school, and slipped in, heart pounding. The safe squatted in the corner, a squat black beast. Combo, 05251952.
Click.
Inside, files, a flask of bourbon, and there, the thumb drive. Ghost, XLSX. My hands shook as I plugged it into my burner phone, downloading the ledger.
Million siphoned.
Deals with shadow firms like Blackwater knockoffs. Names, senators. Contractors. And one entry that gutted me. A Steele, silence op $2 million.
Me.
Priced at $2 million bucks. I pocketed the drive, closed the safe, and froze. Footsteps.
Heavy. Familiar.
The door creaked open, and there he was, Dad, in a crisp overcoat, eyes like flint. "Abigail? What the hell are you doing here?" His voice was thunder wrapped in velvet. In my first life, I'd have stammered, backed down. This time, I met his gaze, the coin burning in my pocket. "Just tying up loose ends, General. Before you bury me again." He didn't laugh. Didn't rage. Just stared, like he saw the ghost I was. And in that moment I knew. The war had just begun. "You've got no idea what you're meddling in, girl." Dad's words hung in the air like tear gas, his frame filling the doorway, blocking my exit. He was 62, but built like a tank, broad shoulders from decades of rucking through jungles and deserts, face etched with lines that spoke of battles won and secrets buried. The Iron General didn't flinch. Ever. But tonight, in the dim glow of his desk lamp, I saw a flicker. Doubt?
No, calculación.
He was already spinning the web. I straightened, forcing calm into my voice, the downloaded drive a lead weight in my jacket. "Meddling? That's rich coming from the man who's been playing both sides for 20 years. His eyes narrowed, that patented steel glare that had broken colonels and congressmen alike. Watch your tone, Captain. You're out of line. Out of line? I'd been out of life because of him. But I couldn't tip my hand, not yet. Not without allies. Just came to borrow a book, Dad. That Vietnam memoir you promised. Didn't know you'd be working late. Lie smooth as bourbon. He bought it, or pretended to, stepping aside with a grunt. Get out. And stay out of things that don't concern you. As I brushed past, his hand clamped my shoulder, firm, paternal, but laced with warning.
Abby.
You're like your mother, seeing ghosts where there are none.
Mom.
The ghost he created. I shrugged him off, the coin in my pocket a silent scream. Maybe the ghosts are real this time. I left him there, the door clicking shut like a chambered round. Back in my apartment, I barricaded the door and fired up my laptop, the thumb drive spilling its guts. The ledger was a masterpiece of deceit, columns of dates, amounts, shell companies. Entries back to 95. Op clean sweep, $500K, routed via Cayman. Clean sweep was his baby, a black op in Somalia that left villages smoking and no paper trail. But there were more. 3. Iraq surge, ghost arms to insurgents, $3.2 million. He'd armed the enemy to justify extensions, more contracts, fatter kickbacks. And Mom, 07. Personal matter, $250K, off books. The year she died. Overdose my ass. He'd paid to make it quiet. Rage boiled, but I shoved it down. Emotion was the enemy. Plan first. Step 1. Back up the drive. Cloud, encrypted, shared with Reyes via Dead Drop app. Step 2. Dig deeper. Who else knew? The names jumped. Senator Hale from Virginia, a hawk who'd chaired armed services. And Victor Kane, CEO of Apex Security, the contractor who'd advised on my op Kane, the snake who'd recruited me out of Ranger School, promising glory, delivering death. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. I hit the base early, pulling Reyes into the motor pool. Grease monkeys tinkered with Humvees, the air thick with diesel and doubt. Cap, this better be good. I didn't sleep for shit. I handed him a burner phone. It's loaded. Read it. Then burn it. He scanned the screen, jaw tightening with each swipe. Jesus, Iron? Your own father?
I nodded, throat dry.
He killed Mom, and he'll kill me if I don't stop him. You in? Reyes pocketed the phone, eyes fierce. For you? To the gates of hell, Cap. We needed more. Muscle. Intel. I thought of Lena, my old flame from OCS, sharp as a K-bar, now a JAG lawyer at Quantico. She'd always suspected the brass had dirt. A quick call. Abby? Holy shit, it's been years. What's up? Her voice, warm with that Jersey edge, cracked my armor. Need your brain, Lena. Off books. Meet at the usual? The usual, a dive bar in Alexandria, neon buzzing like fireflies. She slid into the booth 2 hours later, red hair tied back, suit screaming, "Don't fuck with me." Over IPAs, I laid it out. Minus the resurrection bit. Harlan Steele's dirty. Ledger proves it. I need warrants, but quiet. Lena whistled low. Your dad? That's career suicide, abs. And mine. But her eyes sparkled. The thrill of the hunt. Gimme names. I'll poke. Victor Kane topped the list. She smirked. That sleaze? I repped a whistleblower against Apex last year. Guy vanished. Poof. Vanished. Like Mom. Like me soon. Nights blurred into a fever dream of surveillance. I tailed Kane from his McLean mansion to golf dates with Hale, snapping pics with a telephoto from my Civic. Dad's routine was clockwork. Dawn run along the Potomac, then the earring till midnight. But crack showed. A hushed call I overheard at the O Club, the girls sniffing. Handle it. My blood ran cold. They were moving. First strike. Leaked to the Post. Anonymous tip. Routed through Tor. By morning, headline screamed, Pentagon contractor ties to insurgent arms? Hale's office issued denials, but the stink stuck. Dad called me in, his office a storm cloud. You see this shit? He slammed the paper down. I played dumb, heart racing.
Yeah, General.
Smells like treason. His fist clenched, knuckles white. Careful, Abby. Words like that get people hurt. Threat? Promise? I met his stare. Only if they deserve it. Tension coiled like a spring. My team sensed it, Reyes drilling harder, the platoon whispering. Then, the first retaliation, my security clearance flagged. Administrative hold, the email read. Reyes pulled strings, it was Dad's signature. Isolated again. But I had the coin. Mom's coin. I flipped it that night, heads for push forward, tails for run.
Heads.
Always heads. Lena texted. Kane's yacht this weekend.
Hale aboard.
Bug it. Risky. Stupid. But necessary. We geared up, me in wetsuit, her on overwatch from a chartered boat. Chesapeake Bay lapped cold as I swanned toward the apex, a floating palace of glass and lies. Planted the mic under the aft deck, heart slamming. Voices drifted. Kane's oily drawl. Harlan's girl is a problem. Like the wife. Hale chuckled. Wives break easy. Daughters? Make an example. Splash. I dove, surfacing to Lena's flashlight.
Got it.
Now what? Now we wait. Back on dry land. The recording burned.
Proof.
But playing it meant war. Dad cornered me at family dinner. Awkward affair with his trophy wife number 3, a Botoxed socialite named Tiffany. You're distant, Abby. Over steak, his eyes bored in. Something on your mind? The coin weighed heavy. I smiled, knife glinting. Just thinking about legacy, Dad. Yours.
Meaning.
He raised his glass. To family, venom in a toast. That night, I dreamed of the ridge. Bullets. Betrayal. Woke sweating, the drive's glow my only light. Tomorrow, I'd hit Kane. Ruin him. Then Hale.
Then. Dad.
The Iron General would bend. Or break. But as sirens wailed distant, cops? Feds? I wondered. How far would I go? How many graves before vengeance tasted like ash? The raid on Kane's yacht wasn't poetry, it was a clusterfuck wrapped in adrenaline. We didn't go in guns blazing, that was for movies. No, Lena and I played it smart. Fed the recording to a post-stringer anonymous as sin. By noon, kayaks of reporters swarmed Apex's docks, cameras flashing like paparazzi at a Kardashian meltdown. Kane's face on every channel, pasty, sputtering denials from his lawyer's elbow. Baseless allegations. Smear campaign. But the audio leaked anyway, grainy but gold. Make an example. Hale's Gulfstream was grounded at Dulles, his presser a farce of, I barely know the man. The Beltway buzzed, congressional hearings whispered, IG probes launched. Dad's name stayed clean for now. But the noose tightened. He summoned me to his club that evening, the Army-Navy, old boys' den of cigar smoke and Scotch neat. Marble floors echoed my boots as I entered, the maitre d', nodding like I belonged. Dad waited in a corner booth, uniform swapped for a blazer that screamed civilian power. Sit.
No hello.
I did, the leather creaking under me. This Kane business, it's stirring shit, Abby. You hear anything?
Fishing.
I sipped the bourbon he poured, smooth fire down my throat. Just water cooler talk, General. Contractors are scum. He leaned in, voice low. Some are necessary scum. Keeps the machine oiled. Necessary. Like the guns that armed my killers? I gripped the coin in my pocket, its ridges biting palm. And when the oil's blood. Still necessary. His laugh was bark, no mirth. Your West Point through and through. Idealist to a fault. War's not black and white, kid. It's gray. Compromises. Compromises that buried Mom? I pushed. Like with Mom? Her accident? The booth went tomb silent. His eyes, steel gray, flared. Don't. That was years ago. Leave it. But I wouldn't. I found the payment, Dad. $250,000. To who? The doc who signed off on the talk screen. He drained his glass, slamming it down. You don't know shit. She was broken.
Pills.
Weakness. Weakness. The word hung a slap. Mom wasn't weak. She was the one who'd held me when his deployments left us scraps. She'd whispered warnings about his friends, the late-night calls, the envelopes of cash. I'd ignored her for him. My regret, my fuel. I stood, chair scraping. Weakness is selling out your blood for green. Stormed out, his glare burning my back. In the parking valet lot, Reyes waited in his truck, engine idling. How'd it go? Like swallowing nails. But he's cracking. We drove, windows down, beltway lights streaking. Next, hail. Lena's got a line on his aid, blackmail material. Photos with a lobbyist, the fun kind. Reyes grimaced. This is getting dark, Cap. We're soldiers, not spooks. Dark? Try resurrection. Soldiers fight dirty when the enemy's family. You good? He nodded, but doubt shadowed his face. First fracture. Hail fell faster than expected. Lena's jag pull got the aide to flip, testify for immunity. By week's end, Hale resigned in disgrace, teary presser blaming, partisan witch hunts. The hearings ballooned, subpoenaing Apex execs, circling the Pentagon. Dad's phone rang nonstop. I heard him in his study, barking at shadows. Contain it, Victor, or we're all in the fire. Victor. Kane, even after the yacht scandal. Loyalty among thieves. My own fractures showed. Sleepless nights, the ridge replaying in dreams, sand in my mouth, Reyes screams cut short. I'd wake clawing sheets, the coin my anchor. Flipped it daily now, push.
Push.
But doubt crept. What if vengeance hollowed me? Turn me into him? Reyes noticed, pulling me aside after a brutal PT session. You're burning out, Cap. This ain't just about iron anymore. It was everything. Mom's ghost. My squads. The kid I could have been without his shadow. Then the pushback hit. My apartment trashed, drawers yanked, files shredded. Message scrawled on the mirror. Ghosts die twice. Hardened throat, I swept for bugs, found two. Dad's work, or Kane's. Called Lena. Go dark. They're hunting. She laughed brittle. Too late, abs. Feds just raided my office. Asking about you.
Paranoia spiked.
Who else? I met Reyes at a neutral, Shenandoah safe house, his cousin's cabin. We leaked the ledger.
Full blast.
To WikiLeaks, Mother Jones, whoever bites. He hesitated. That outs you. Us. Better outed than dead. We uploaded that night, VPN layered like armor. By morning, the world ignited. General's ghost ledger. Treason at the top? Front page everywhere, CNN panels dissecting, Fox screaming deep state. Dad's face everywhere, stone mask cracking on live TV. Utter fabrications. My service speaks for itself. But it didn't. Resignation snowballed, contractors folded. I watched from a motel, burner buzzing with Lena's text. You're a legend. Or a target. Target. Understatement. That afternoon, a black SUV tailed me from the base. I lost it in DC traffic, but not before glimpsing the plate. Government issue. Dad's cavalry. I confronted him at the house. Tiffany's Pilates class, him in the den nursing scotch. Call off your dogs, General. He didn't startle.
Abby. Sit.
We talk. For the first time, plea in his tone. I didn't. Talk. Like you talked to Mom before the pills. He rose, towering. She was gonna ruin us. The deals, the exposures. She found the books, threatened the press. I paid to quiet her. Yes. Mercy killing, not murder.
Mercy.
The word twisted like a bayonet.
And me?
The rich? His face crumpled, just a hair. Kane's idea. Leak the op, make it look like Taliban intel. You were collateral. To stop the digging. Collateral. My life, my team bargaining chips. I drew the coin, slamming it on the desk.
Mom's.
Our luck. He stared, transfixed. She gave you that. Voice thick. For a beat, the Iron General wavered. Then Steele returned. Get out. Before I make it permanent. I left, but not before palming his flask, fingerprints, maybe leverage. Night fell heavy. Reyes called. Feds inbound. On you. Run or fight. Coin flip. Fight. We hold up, planning the endgame. But as choppers thumped distant searching, I realized vengeance wasn't clean. It scarred the Avenger too. And Dad? He wasn't just monster. He was father.
Flawed.
Broken. The line blurred, and I hated it. The hearings hit like a monsoon, subpoenas raining on the Pentagon. Dad hauled before the Senate like a war criminal in khakis. C-SPAN looped his testimony. Ramrod straight, voice gravel steady, denying every charge. Sirs, I've bled for this uniform 60 years. These are forgeries, smears from enemies foreign and domestic. The gallery murmured. Protesters outside chanted, iron rests, with signs of coffins draped in flags. My doing. Our doing. But glory tasted like bile. Lena was sidelined, suspended pending investigation, her text frantic. They know I fed the aid. Watch your back. Reyes and I went nomadic, bouncing motels from Richmond to Roanoke. Burners swapped like socks. Kane was the linchpin. Fuckard lawyered up in a Miami penthouse, but Lena's last gift, a mole in Apex HR, doctored his travel. Private jet to Bimini, business retreat. We beat him there, chartering a fishing boat, me in dive gear, Reyes topside with binoculars. This is insane, Cap, he muttered as waves slapped hull. Kidnapping a CEO? We're crossing lines. Lines? I died crossing his. Not kidnapping.
Shut.
We boarded at dusk, silent as sharks, zip-tying Kane in his stateroom amid crystal decanters and hooker mags. He woke sputtering, silk pajamas askew. Steele? You crazy bitch. Do you know who I am? Victor Kane, arms dealer extraordinaire. Enabler of my murder. I pressed the Beretta to his temple, cold steel-kissing skin. No round chambered, bluff, but his eyes bulged. Murder? I didn't. Reyes gagged him with duct tape, phone recording. The Ridge. July 2019. You leaked the op. He mumbled, sweat beading. I ripped the tape. Talk. Broken words tumbled. Harlan. He panicked. You had the ledger copy. Said to make it disappear. Taliban contact, easy money. Easy. My squad's blood for bucks. And Mom? He sneered. Collateral like you. Harlan's soft spot. Soft? The man who'd beaten sense into me with a belt for C-minuses. I pistol-whipped him. Once, temple cracking like eggshell. For them. He slumped, whimpering. We dumped him ashore, anonymous tip to Bahamian cops. Corporate espionage. By dawn, he was in cuffs, singing to feds for a deal. His testimony cracked the dam, naming Hale, contractors, and finally Dad. Steele orchestrated it all.
Bribes. Ops.
The daughter? He greenlit the hit. DC imploded. Dad arrested mid-briefing, cuffs glinting on CNN as MPs let him out. This is a disgrace, he bellowed, the iron facade fracturing live. Tiffany filed for divorce from a spa in Aspen, his friends scattered like roaches. I watched from a dive bar in Norfolk, bourbon burning, the coins spinning on the scarred wood. Heads, justice. Tails, hollow. It landed edge up, mocking. Reyes raised a glass. We did it, Cap. He's done. But his eyes, haunted. The raid had cost. My clearance revoked, him under IA probe for leaks. Lena texted. Clear? Meet. We converged at her Quantico condo, rain lashing windows like accusations. Hugs turned heated, old sparks igniting, bodies crashing in release. After, tangled sheets, she whispered. What's next? You can't run forever. Run?
No.
End it. The Ridge waited. Symbolic. I flew commercial to Bagram. Civilian. Backpack stuffed with civvies and ghosts. Dad's trial loomed in Alexandria, but first closure. The real Ridge, not dreams. Hired a local fixer, ex-Talib turned guide, for the trek. Dust-choked air, Sun baking earth same as before. At the crest, ghosts gathered. Bullet casings glinted, wind whispering names. Martinez, Kowalski, my platoon. I knelt, tracing craters, tears mixing with grit. I got 'em, I murmured. For you. Back stateside, the trial was circus, gawkers, vets protesting, not my general. Dad in orange jumpsuit, shackled, but chin high. I testified last day, sworn in, the coin in my bra like a heartbeat. General Steele betrayed his oath. His blood. Me. The gallery gasped. He met my eyes, not steel, but lead. Broken. Cross-exam. His lawyer, slick as Cain, painted me hysterical. Captain Steele, isn't it true you fabricated evidence? Sought revenge for a perceived slight?
Perceived?
I leaned into the mic. Slights don't leave 31 body bags, counselor. That's treason. Verdict. Guilty. All counts. Life, no parole. As bailiffs let him out, our eyes locked. Abby.
Horse plea.
I stood, coin clutched. You made me, Dad. Now live with it. But vengeance's aftertaste soured quick. Post-trial, feds circled, conspiracy charges for me, Reyes, Lena. Accessories, they called it. We scattered. Him to Mexico, her to a firm in Atlanta.
Me?
Vanished into Appalachia, a cabin off-grid, flipping burgers as Sarah Jane.
Peace? Nah.
Nightmares lingered. The ridge, Mom's eyes, Dad's voice. Weakness. Months ground. Then, the letter. Orange envelope, prison postmark. Abigail, read this. Then come. Heart stuttered. I drove. Mountains folding to DC sprawl. The coin my co-pilot. Parole hearing?
No.
Visitor's room at Supermax. Plexiglass divider. Phones greasy. He looked shrunk. Gray stubble, eyes hollowed. You came.
No wotems.
Why? He slid a photo across. Him, young, Mom laughing on a beach, me toddler in arms.
To say. The coin.
Your grandfather's. He gave it to me in Nam. Said it saved him from a VC ambush. Luck. Luck. I'd called it curse. Why tell me now? His voice cracked. Because I was the wolf, Abby. Feared losing the empire.
But you're
the Steele now. Forgive?
No.
Understand? Try. I pressed the glass, coin out.
Mom's.
He nodded, tears tracing. She knew. Warn me. I broke us. Sobs racked him. The Iron General, weeping like a child. Part of me exulted. Victory. Part shattered.
Father.
I hung up, walked out into rain. Vengeance complete.
But whole.
Never. The coin flipped one last time. Heads. Forward. The drive back from Supermax was a blur of interstates and introspection, rain-sheeting windshield like absolution denied. Dad's tears, raw, unfiltered, haunted more than his crimes. The unbreakable man, reduced to sobs over a silver disc. I'd won. Dismantled the empire. Buried the secrets. Cain rotted in Leavenworth. Hale disbarred and divorced, his retirement a Florida trailer. The ledger's fallout purged the rot. New oversight laws, contractors on leashes. Vets groups hailed me anonymous hero, the ghost who exposed iron. But heroes don't sleep. They replay the cost. Squad lost twice. Once to bullets, once to my hubris. Reyes, exiled south of the border, wiring cash for his kids' braces. Lena, thriving in Atlanta but dodging my calls, scarred by the heat. I holed up in that smoky mountain cabin, wood smoke and regret my companions. Days blurred, chopping cordwood till blisters bled, nights with bourbon and bad TV, Fox railing against deep state purges, CNN canonizing Dad's tragic fall. The coin sat on the mantle, tarnished sentinel. Flipped it less now. Outcomes felt rigged. Heads for hope, but hope was a luxury for the living.
Me?
I was Echo. First crack in isolation. A postcard from Lena. Atlanta's humid as hell. Miss you're crazy. Coffee?
El simple.
Tempting. I drove south. 81 unspooling like thread from a grenade pin. We met at a Waffle House. greasy spoon irony, her in pencil skirt, me in flannel reeking of pine. You look like a lumberjack, she teased, but eyes searched. Broken?
Healing?
Rust and ruin suit me. Over hash browns, walls tumbled. He cried, Lena. Over the coin. She squeezed my hand. Catharsis.
For him.
What about you?
Me?
I'd avenged, but the void gaped. Forgave?
No.
Understood? Maybe. He was Vietnam warped, saw enemies everywhere, even home. She nodded, lawyer brain whirring. Cycle breaks with you. No more steals in uniform? I laughed, bitter. Hell no.
But the itch.
Leading, fighting. She leaned in. Then lead here. Pro bono for vets. Expose more irons. Temptation bloomed. Purpose beyond payback. Reyes surfaced next, smuggled email via mule account. Mexico's tacos beat MREs, but missed the team. Wedding soon, come? I did, border crossing with a forged passport, nerves electric. His village shindig, mariachi blaring, tequila flowing, him in a suit too tight, bride glowing.
Got.
He bear-hugged, ribs creaking. You did good. Saved my ass from the grave. Lies, he'd saved mine twice. At the dance, under string lights, he confessed. After the ridge. Thought of quitting. You kept me. Reciprocated. Us against the machine, Reyes.
Toast to ghosts.
Back north, threads wove. I took Lena's offer. Firm gig, suing shady contractors for vet suicides linked to faulty gear. Courtrooms became my ridge. Cross-exams like firefights, verdicts my extractions. Wins stacked, settlements for families, headlines praising anonymous advocate. Dad wrote monthly, letters smudged with regret. Proud, Abby. Break what I built. I didn't reply, but kept them. Archive of Atonement. Twist came autumnal, leaves aflame. Parole board granted him compassionate release. Cancer, stage 4. Iron melting from within. Lena drove me to the facility, her hand steady on gear shift. You owe him nothing. But blood whispered otherwise. He emerged frail, balding chemo scalp, suit hanging loose, escorted to a halfway in Bethesda. I met him at a park bench, Potomac glittering indifferent. Abby. No general now. Just Harlan. Heard about the suits. Kicking ass. Gruff pride. I sat, coin in pocket. Learned from the best. And worst. Talk flowed halting. Vietnam horrors. Village burns he ordered. Ghosts that birthed his paranoia. Mom's fire. How she'd challenged, loved fierce till he snuffed it. Feared you'd turn like her. So I pushed you away. Then pulled the trigger. Literal.
Confessin hum, but jeeping banan.
Why the coin? I asked. He smiled faint. Your granddad flipped it before every patrol. Luck's what you make. I forgot. You remembered. I pulled it out, placed in his palm, wrinkled, trembling. Yours now. Make luck. Tears again, silent rivulets. He gripped it, knuckles mottling. Forgive. The word, fragile. I searched his eyes. Fathers, not fiends. Working on it. Hugged him then. Bones brittle undershirt. Hospice followed quick. Pain managed, regrets not. Last visit he pressed the coin back.
Keep it.
For the next fight. Died at dawn. Monitors flatlining like a radio cutoff. I buried him simple. Arlington, no fanfare. Stood at the grave. Wind off the hills carrying whispers. Vengeance's end. Not triumph. Quiet.
Now?
Lena and I, DC Brownstone, her chaos my calm. Reyes visits, kid in tow, tales of cartel dust-ups. I lead a non-profit, Steel Legacy Fund, ironically, training vets in law, exposing brass bullshit. Flaws remain, nightmares linger, trust's a minefield. But the coin spins true. Heads, forward. Tails?
Same.
America's machine grinds on, wars, whispers, wolves in wool. I watch, wary but unbroken. Daughter of iron, forged in fire. Luck's what you make. And I'm making mine. Epilogue hook, Sometimes in quiet I wonder, did I really die? Or was the rigid dream, this life the echo?
Doesn't matter.
The fight's eternal. And I'm still standing.